Hey everybody, Sunny here. Today is Rare Disease Day, so that means I get to get involved in the Rare Disease Day antics that happen every year, and this year it's Show Your Stripes. So, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you about my conditions. I've got an umbrella term of a condition called septo-optic dysplasia, which is a malformation of the midline of the brain. My optic nerve is deformed, my pituitary gland didn't develop properly, and I never even developed the septum pellucidum, which is the membrane that kind of sits between the two halves of the brain. Doesn't really do much to affect me, that part, but the other two really affect my life in a multitude of different ways. So, I guess I'll talk about those. So here's my stripe for septo-optic dysplasia, right there. That's the umbrella term that I just explained. Next up, that caused, because my pituitary gland is messed up, panhypopituitarism. And that pretty much means that my pituitary gland doesn't function properly, so my body doesn't make any of the hormones necessary for survival. I do take pills, lots of them, every day to replace those missing hormones, but treatment isn't really a cure, and it's not necessarily perfect either. Well, not even close to perfect. I wouldn't even say not necessarily perfect. It's not great. Because it tries to kind of mimic what your body would normally secrete, but taking pills is nothing compared to the body's normal secretion throughout the day. So because of that, I deal with a lot of symptoms throughout my day that affect, my ability to work, for instance. I'm unable to work. I did try. Wound up in the hospital, but I tried. It was fun. Anyway, because of that, panhypopituitarism has caused adrenal insufficiency, which can be fatal. This is a condition by itself. My cat's trying to get paint on her fur. Anyway, adrenal insufficiency. Back on track, Sunny. That can be a condition all on its own. There are two different forms. There's primary adrenal insufficiency, which is caused by an autoimmune disease called Addison's disease. But what I have is secondary adrenal insufficiency, which is when the pituitary gland itself isn't sending any signals to the adrenal glands to produce the hormone cortisol, among other things, which kind of helps regulate blood pressure and other bodily functions that are, important for basic survival. And if not treated properly or during cases of intense stress, it can actually lead to something called an adrenal crisis, which can be fatal. I've had 2 of those. Luckily, I got great care. Well, had to go to another ER the second time because the first one didn't know what they were doing, but that's something that you deal with when you have a rare disorder. Anyway, the point is I'm alive, and that's great. So, it caused adrenal insufficiency. I can talk a little bit more about that on the stream, but for now, I'll go on to the other things. I've got so much to cover here. Next up, hypothyroidism. Because my pituitary gland isn't sending signals to the rest of my endocrine system, my thyroid gland doesn't know what to do. I have a small thyroid gland anyway, for whatever reason. But my thyroid's low, so I have to take the thyroid meds to kind of make up for that. I'm also hypogonad, which means I don't make the sexual hormones that are important, not just for libido, but for, regular, feminine health down there. I wouldn't have a period if I didn't take my estradiol and my medroxyprogesterone every day in a monthly cycle. That's really complicated. But hey, I've got it taken care of thanks to great endocrinologists. Also caused adult growth hormone deficiency, which I actually have to take a shot for every day. Got my handy dandy sharps container right here. Yep, got my needles on hand. 1 shot a day. Luckily the needles are really small, so it really doesn't hurt all that bad. And I'm used to it. I've been taking it for like 3 years now. But that kind of helps with cell regrowth. A lot of doctors actually still don't understand that adults really need the growth hormone. There's like this misconception that only children need it when they're developing, but studies have actually proven that adults still need it. Like I said, for cell regrowth and redistribution of fat throughout the body. If you are, if you don't have enough growth hormone, your fat can kind of sit around the waist and make you look pregnant. No, it doesn't really look all that flattering. It also likes to sit around other parts of the body that aren't all that flattering. So taking the growth hormone shots help with energy levels. It helps with, if you don't have the shots, if you're deficient, it can cause muscle weakness, brain fog, which is all up in the air for me anyway. It can be a lot worse if you're growth hormone deficient. Anyway, let's see here. I covered hypothyroidism, adrenal insufficiency, hypogonadism, adult growth hormone deficiency. What else is there? Other hormones could be deficient, but they're not really treated on a regular basis. I hope more research is done on that, because my pituitary gland covers a lot more than just those hormones that I'm being treated for. And since those aren't being secreted, I know that I'm not making the other stuff. Don't know how much that's affecting me, but like I said, can't work, so maybe there's something to that. But all that aside, the third thing, optic nerve hypoplasia. Where am I gonna put this? There we go. Yeah. Optic nerve hypoplasia. That's the malformation of my optic nerve. And it's, like I said, it's a complication of the septo-optic dysplasia, so it's part of all of my conditions. But, basically what that has done to me is I don't have peripheral vision at all. I can't even see my, well, I'm looking at the video, but I can't even see my fingers right here on the side of my face. I've got, like, I did a vision, one of those vision tests that show you a field of vision test, whatever it's called. But, like, here's the circle. Most people see the whole circle. Half of that, for me, was completely gone. I don't have that vision. And what little vision I do have is really impacted by this twitching that my eye does. My eyes have to work very hard to focus on things. I'll show you. I'm getting paint all over the place. But if I look to the left all the way or to the right, you can really see it twitching. Yeah. Imagine how hard it is to focus your eyes when they're doing that all the time. That can cause a lot of headaches. Makes it hard for me to read, unfortunately, so audiobooks are my friend. But that's another reason why when I do stream on Twitch, I have to stop for after a couple of hours to let my eyes rest, because all that twitching and having to try to focus really causes nasty headaches. The really cool thing, though, because of that peripheral vision loss, I've got these glasses called Chadwick lenses that were designed to help kind of bring in, isn't that neat? Kind of bring in some of that vision that I've lost. It's not focused at all. It's really blurry, but it allows me to see things moving on my sides that I normally wouldn't see. So, like, if I'm walking down the street and I gotta cross the road, a car comes out of nowhere, I might see it when I otherwise would not. You know, kind of save my life a little bit. So, but all that stuff aside, I'll talk a lot more in depth about it during the stream that I'm having today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm hosting a stream specifically for Rare Disease Day, where I'm going to be continuing to talk about my conditions and other conditions, kind of getting people excited. Is that the word? Spreading awareness. You don't really get excited for things like rare diseases. Anyway, I hope to see you guys there, and I hope this was informative. I really do enjoy educating people on this, so if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll answer as best as I possibly can. Otherwise, hope to see you on Twitch at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have some fun. Thanks, and happy Rare Disease Day!